Hello, everybody. We're slowly moving through this, being able to make the drop downs, make the fonts selectable. So right now we have two fonts. We have the Helvetica and then we have the Helvetica Bold. Um, so um, and let me see. I have Hello World in there so for the picture. So let me go ahead and so that I'll be able to capture that as my screen for the thumbnail for this video. So the next step is going to be probably going to be doing these steps a little slower because I've had sort of a change in life where I'm probably not going to be able to go as long on these videos, which is probably good news for everybody involved. And it actually is a very good thing. Like for a year, I worked on a project where, at personal project where I only allowed myself 300 seconds to work on the project per day. And the benefit I had on that is because when I first started, it would take me literally the first 300 seconds to even come back up to speed to figure out what I was working on. And after a while, I got to where I could write code that I could come up to speed quickly on. So this is probably going to be good for that. But what I need to do is have an interface that describes the whole object because basically a I need a string and I need the promise. In different circumstances. The string for the drop down, the promise for the actual font to get the font. And it's a special kind of promise. So if we scroll up to the top here, um, we see that we have a promise that has a setting type. I don't know what the word for this is, but a, a strongly typed promise of a font. So basically, I'm going to go into my interfaces, and I think this should be in the mesh interfaces, and I'm going to create an interface that describes something that has a string, which in this, the string would be Helvetica regular, or just Helvetica, and then the other string would be Helvetica bold. And then I want those strings to also be strongly typed if at all possible. I think that is possible. It's not possible in the dictionaries, but I think it's possible with just regular arrays. So I'm going to go into my mesh interface, and this is the object that I want to capture. So the type, it's not a type, it's going to be an interface. So export interface, and it is a font. Um, I think I usually throw the word interface. I don't know what interface. I like that a lot. And basically, what it's going to have is a name, which is a string, and it's going to have a promise, which is a that. And then the font hasn't been imported yet. So we want to look carefully at this. Okay, that is the right thing. It's coming from 3. Um, font is definitely something. Now, we really don't want this just to be any name, any string. So we're going to create a type. Export type. And this type is going to be font name. And this font name at this point can be Helvetica. And I don't have, oh, there it is. Okay, so it's got an E, not, and then Iker. Or it can be Helvetica bold. I think that's how we typically do it. Okay, so now this name can be, it's of type font name. And that's all it's allowed to be. Now let's see, how far in are we? We are 4 minutes in. Okay, maybe I can do a little bit more. So in our 3 service, we are going to have at the top, we're going to have a list of fonts. And that is going to be a private list. And this is up for change, so fonts, and this is of type, and it's the type we just created. So I can just hit Alt back, font interface, and it's an array. And I'm just going to start it off with this like that. And now font interface needs to be imported. And we want to make sure that we get it from our meshes. And basically, now what we can do is we can say that I don't think this should be a capital F. So let's just go ahead and populate it now. Fonts.push. And one thing is name colon, and it should have Helvetiker, comma, and then did I name that promise? Colon, and it's Helvetiker regular promise. I wonder if I have to say this? No. I don't know what the problem is here. Okay, fonts is declared but is never read. Okay, that's fine. Oh. Say font list. Push. I'm just gonna okay, what's your problem? Maybe we can put this in the constructor. And now it's not, okay, so that's, oh, that's funny. Okay, so that's better, and then this probably needs to be this. All right, so that's good. We did that, so we might as well do that for the bold one, since that should only take a second. Bold. It's happy. Bold promise. Okay, so now what this gives us is a structure that we can have access to. We'll next. So basically, the template will need access to it. So we're going to have to. I'm going to need to add this signal, like a signal that basically now publishes so that the component can have access to it, and then this service will have access to it. In the future, when we break out, like probably one of the very next things we're going to do is pull out the inside of this service. We're going to pull out all the material stuff. This will obviously go with that. So we may have to come up with some other way to communicate this into here, but that's not a fish to fry later. But yeah, so this is good. This is the next possible step. I think the very next thing will be to add that mesh to the or add that drop down that has these two names in it. That'll probably be the next thing to do, and then after that we'll have we can figure out where to go from there. But it is probably to actually execute the two, or check the two, use the promise all to make sure that all the promises are loaded before we do any text stuff. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.